4 billion years. Every sunrise, every sunset, every season, our solar system has obeyed the same rules. 1 star, 8 planets, perfect balance. Until one ordinary morning. ACT. There was Lee where no light should exist. At first, knob. Cameras checked the sky. Telescopes around the world turned toward Jupiter. Somehow, Jupiter was getting brighter. Every minute, Jupiter is the largest planet in our solar system. More than 300 could fit inside it. It is made almost entirely of hydrogen, the same element that powers our sun. But one thing has always been missing: enough pressure to ignite. Then, the impossible happened. Deep beneath Jupiter, gravity pushed hydrogen. The first atomic nuclei fused together. A tiny burst of energy became another. Then another. A new fire was born. At first, almost nothing changed. Yes, but hour by hour, it's light G. Until one night, humanity looked up and realized there were but 2 suns. In the solar system it didn't happen in a flash. There was no explosion, no wave of fire. Jupiter simply became brighter, day after day, until it was no longer the brightest planet, but the solar system's second star. Light travels fast, nearly 300,000 kilometers every second. Even so, Jupiter's new light needed time, for it reached the outer planets. Then, Saturn's icy rings. For the first time in 4.5 billion years, they reflected 2 different suns. 43 minutes later, the new light arrived at Earth. Night was no longer completely dark. Astronomers watched in disbelief. Families walked outside. Children pointed toward the sky. A second shadow quietly appeared beside the first. Humanity had never seen anything like it. At first, it was beautiful. But stars don't produce only light. They release enormous amounts of energy. Radiation, charged particles, invisible storms, racing across the solar system. The question was no longer if they would arrive, only when. Spacecraft noticed first. Began to fail. Astronauts moved into shielded modules. Earth's magnetic field bent the incoming particles away, protecting life, just as it had done. For billions of years, the second sun had transformed the sky, and now, it was beginning to change everything. Then, the invisible storm arrived. Satellites began shutting down. Communications flickered. Navigation systems became unreliable. In orbit, astronauts sealed themselves inside the most heavily shielded modules. On Earth, most people never knew how close they came. That night, the sky changed again. Auroras spread far beyond the poles. Green, purple, crimson, dancing above cities that had never seen them before. Millions looked up, believing they were witnessing the most beautiful night in human history. Beauty hid the danger. Earth's magnetic field absorbed most of the storm, deflecting countless charged particles away from the surface. Without that invisible shield, life on Earth might never have existed. For the first time, humanity realized how much it owed to something it could never see. But while Earth endured, Jupiter did not. Deep inside, the new fusion slowly weakened. The impossible fire was never meant to last. Instruments detected it first. The second sun had begun to fade. Most people had no idea. Families gathered outside. Children laughed. Telescopes filled parks and rooftops. Across the world, humanity admired one final evening beneath 2 suns. Night after night, Jupiter grew dimmer, not suddenly, not dramatically, just enough for careful eyes to notice. The extraordinary was quietly becoming ordinary again. Then, one morning, it happened. Jupiter no longer outshone the stars. Its brilliant glow disappeared. Once again, it became what it had always been: a giant planet, drifting silently through the darkness. The skies returned to normal. Satellites recovered. Auroras faded. Life continued. But something had changed, not in the universe, but inside us. Humanity had witnessed the impossible and could never forget it. Every night, people still looked toward Jupiter. It appeared ordinary, quiet, familiar, yet no one could see it the same way again, because for one impossible season, it had been a star. The universe returned to normal. We did not. Every sunrise became a little more precious. Every night sky a little more extraordinary. Because somewhere, between science and imagination, we discovered that even the impossible can leave a memory. And perhaps that is the greatest wonder of all.